for being here tonight. And again, I mentioned this is being organized by the HISPAC, or the Hispanic Political Action Committee. The sponsored non-partisan partners are the Florida Hispanic American Chamber of Commerce, and we'd like to introduce you to their CEO. Santos, please.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the HISPAC Candidate Forum presentation for South Florida 2020. It's a pleasure to have you all with us. As a president, well, actually founder and CEO of the Florida Hispanic American Chamber of Commerce, because we have different presidents in different areas. That's why I wanted to make the correction. I welcome you all. Thank you for being here this evening.
Also, the Puerto Rican Hispanic Chamber of Commerce of Palm Beach County, which this is Juan Pagana, I'm the current president of the organization. And we'd like to thank you all for being here tonight. No, you don't have to be Puerto Rican to belong. You can belong without being Puerto Rican. That's great. We have over 23 countries that belong to our organization across the whole USA, including Canada. Also, another one non-partisan sponsor is La Guia News, which is the leading Hispanic Spanish-only newspaper in Palm Beach County. Sam Roman. Well, Sam Roman is the current, president owner of La Guia News. And also we like, Sam, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, I'm Sam Roman. A lot of you know me, I'm involvement in the community. I see a lot of familiar faces. So thank you for taking time to be with us. This very important candidate forum to introduce your platform to the Hispanic community in Palm Beach County. So thank you very much. I see that we have Congresswoman Lois Frankel and other familiar faces. Mr. Santiago Vasquez, all the way from Broward. Thank you, sir, for being here. And we're looking forward to having a great event and making sure that your platform is heard with the voters.
And the other one, non-partisan sponsor we have is Cruza Channel. It's a PR USA channel, which is based out of Orange County in Orlando. Jose Rivera.
Hi there. Hello to all. We cover Central Florida and the whole state of Florida as well. And we partner with La Guia News, so we launched our edition for Central Florida, covering Osceola, Brevard, and Orange counties. We wish you all the best. We've been in previous screenings, and it's very professionally done, very detailed and meticulous. So you're in good hands. Wish you all the best. I'll be the timekeeper as well. You have 3 minutes, and I'll let you know when you have 30 seconds to go.
Thank you, Jose. As Jose mentioned, in the format, it's going to be 3 minutes per candidate. The whole, and I want to clarify, there will be no endorsements in this forum. Essentially, you're here to present what is it that you have to bring to the table, what you're offering to the county, what you're bringing to the community. And of course, looking into account the census of 2020, which I've been a little bit mortified to say the least. Somebody, could you please mute yourself? I hear some feedback, some noise back there. So, the census has been a little mortified by the pandemic, the COVID-19 has been a lot of issues, and hopefully everybody will be counted. But essentially, we've been working with them in the office in Atlanta, and the projections is that Palm Beach County is going to bring a significant change, meaning the Hispanic population, which also have been between 15 to 18%. It's projected that for the 2020 is going to go to 30 to 40%. So that's one of the things that is going to bring a little different participants to the table on the electoral system. So we're looking forward to work with all of you. As we would like to start, like I mentioned, we're going to start with the judges first. And we're not taking them in any particular order. We're just taking in the order of the groups, and they have 3 groups. And we're going to start with group 12, which the first candidate, that I'm going to call up to tell us what is it you're bringing to the table, what is it you have to offer to the county, to the community. And from there we go. So I'm going to call candidate Jaianna, and excuse me if I don't pronounce it correctly. Is that correct? Jaianna Seaborne?
It's Jaianna Seaborne.
Jaianna Seaborne. Jaianna, you got 3 minutes. Tell us all about you.
Good afternoon.
Give me a second, Juan. If you may allow me just a minute. First of all, we are recording this session, number one. Number two, it's going stream live, just so you all know, and then we'll go start with her time once again. Give me a second to start you, and everybody okay with being recorded and live, right?
Yes, yes.
Anybody has any objections? Okay, no objections. We'll proceed. You have 3 minutes. I'll let you know when you have 30 seconds left. Thank you, and
Thank
ready.
you. Good afternoon. My name is Jaianna Seaborne, and I'm running for County Court Judge Group 12. I have practiced as a public defender for about 7.5 years. I worked for a national insurance company for about 6 years, doing civil bodily injury cases. I have worked for the Office of Regional Conflict Counsel in Palm Beach County, going on the last 4 years, doing criminal defense. I have practiced criminal defense, family law, civil cases. I have tried over 71 jury trials and over 15 bench trials. I have 15 years worth of experience. I've tried misdemeanor cases, family law cases, all the way up to first-degree homicide cases. I know the law. I bring knowledge to the bench. I bring compassion, respect, and honesty and integrity to the bench. I served in the United States Air Force during 9/11. I've learned varied cultures and diverse backgrounds. I bring empathy to the bench, along with honesty and a quest for justice. I've been doing this for a long time. I do my research. I know the law. I can apply the law fairly and justly to all that come before me in court. And that is why I'm asking to be your county court judge for the 12th seat. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will continue the time. You have no question, nothing else, right? So we will go forward. Thank you.
Thank you. That's fine.
Okay, the next candidate I would like to call is, please, Judge Debra Moses Stevens, please, from Group 12.
The judge is muted.
Oh, she's muted. Please unmute yourself, Judge.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Debra Moses Stevens, and I have been the Palm Beach County Court Judge in Group 12 for 20 years. During that time as a judge, I have been in the Domestic Violence Division, the Criminal Division, and the Civil Division. I've been Administrative Judge for the Domestic Violence Division, the Criminal Division, as well as the Traffic Hearing Officer Program for the last 13 years. I am currently the administrative judge for the Riviera Beach Civil Drug Court, where I volunteer my Saturdays to help out in Marchman Act cases. It has always been my philosophy as a judge to apply the law fairly and to treat everyone who comes into my courtroom with dignity and respect. I have more than 200 jury trials as a judge, more than 200 non-jury trials as a judge. I'm currently assigned to the Domestic Violence Division, and in that division, I also handle domestic violence injunctions for the family court. I have lived in this community for the 33 years that I've been in Florida. I met my husband, Don Stevens, here, and we have raised 4 children to adulthood. This is my community. This is where I dedicate all of my time in community service, from running basketball teams for youth who would not have an opportunity to do travel basketball, from sponsoring those teams, to my time with the Riviera Beach Civil Drug Court. I dedicate my time to this community because this is a job of service. And as a job of service, you have to know your community, you have to live here. I've lived here for 33 years and I know my community. I treat them with respect and love because it is my job to serve, and that is what I've decided to do. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. We will continue with the next group. We would like to jump to group 16. We're going to start with Judge Jeffrey Guillen. Please, 3 minutes.
All right, thank you very much, Juan.
As you said, my name is Judge Jeffrey Guillen. I've been a lawyer for, I've been involved in the legal field for over 30 years, about 34 if I'm not mistaken. The last 20 years, I've been a public servant in Palm Beach County for the Department of Children and Families. And for the last 8 years, I've been a circuit judge here in Palm Beach County. As a circuit judge, I've presided over 4 different divisions, 2 different civil divisions, a family domestic violence, guardianship, and probate division. And now for a little over a year, I've been presiding over a felony criminal division. I have earned the respect of many community leaders, including former judges, lawyers, elected officials, and other community and local leaders. That list includes nearly 200 people, and it continues to grow. I enjoy the endorsements from the Fraternal Order of Police, the statewide Lodge of the Fraternal Order of Police, the AFL-CIO, the Palm Beach County Human Rights Council, the Palm Beach County Classroom Teachers Association, the Police Benevolent Association of Palm Beach County, and perhaps most significantly, I have an overwhelming endorsement from the Sun Sentinel. They have made it clear, to use their words, the choice in Group 16 for circuit judge is an easy one for the voters. It's an easy one for the voters because I enjoy the respect of the lawyers that have appeared in front of me over the various years. If one were to look at the evaluations that are done every other year by the Palm Beach County Bar Association, those lawyers who have responded in those evaluations have overwhelmingly found in all 9 of the categories in each of the years that I have been evaluated that I am either excellent or satisfactory in all 9 of the categories. It's perhaps no surprise then that the South Palm Beach County Bar Association determined that I was the jurist of the year just over 2 years ago in June of 2018. I enjoy going to work every day. I think it shows in my demeanor. And so long as the people who appear in front of me, whether with or without counsel, understand and perceive that by the end of the day, when I have ruled, they know that they have received thank you. They've received the opportunity to be heard by an attentive, civil, courteous judge, regardless of the outcome. I ask for your vote in the August election for Circuit Judge Group 16. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge Guillen. Yeah. We're going to follow up now with the next candidate, Henry Quinn Johnson of Group 16.
Hey, good evening, everybody. I am Henry Quinn Johnson. I'm a candidate for Circuit Court Judge Group 16. I am a 28-year resident of Florida and a 16-year resident of Palm Beach County. I have over 22 years of jury trial and litigation experience. I have served as an assistant statewide prosecutor, an assistant attorney general, an assistant state attorney, and also a trial attorney. I personally have tried over 100 jury trials and more than 500 contested non-jury trials. I have the most jury trial experience of any candidate in my race. I have also litigated in every division of circuit court, including civil, criminal, family law, juvenile, and probate. I've also handled cases in criminal court as both a prosecutor and defense attorney, and civil cases around the state of Florida. I've also, in civil cases, I've litigated cases in eminent domain, family law, probate, personal injury, small business litigation, contract law, and real estate law, including foreclosure litigation. In addition to my legal experience, I also have 27 years as a military soldier, lieutenant colonel, and a judge advocate general officer. In addition, I served in 3 different war zones, the Afghanistan War, the Bosnia conflict, and also the Gulf War. As a judge advocate, I have litigated cases on military installations around the world, including military justice, administrative law, operational law, contract and fiscal law, detention operations, intelligence and information operations law, and also cyber law issues. In recognition of my service, I've been awarded numerous awards to include the Legion of Merit and also the Bronze Star Medal. I have a Bachelor of Science degree in chemistry from the University of South Carolina, a master's in urban planning from Florida State University, and my law degree from the University of Florida. I'm married to Dr. Terry Johnson, and a pediatrician, and we have 2 young sons, Daniel and Elijah. And as I stated, I personally have the most jury trial experience in this election. If you look at my endorsements on my QuinnJohnsonforJudge.com, you will see that I have endorsements from current and elected officials, the most elected officials in this race. You would also learn that the community is excited about my candidacy because of my qualifications and real world leadership experience. And I would ask that everyone, to read the articles about me and my opponent over the past 15 years in both the Palm Beach Post and the Sun Sentinel. We know that elections are about the future. We're living in a time of change, this pandemic. And in this race, I am also the only candidate who would be able to complete this term. My opponent will not be able to complete a full 6-year term, meaning that the people will not have a choice. It would be up to the governor. And so I believe that because elections are about the future, that people should be given the opportunity to choose who they want to serve as judge here. It's important that the entire community reimagine the judiciary, as service to the community, service to the people of all walks of life. And I ask you to join this campaign. Go to my website, QuinnJohnsonforJudge.com, visit my Facebook page, Quinn Johnson for Judge, and let's get ready to win with Quinn. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it. Thank you for being with us here tonight. We would like to proceed with the next group. This is going to be group 30. I'm going to start with candidate Adam Myron.
Hello, everyone. Thank you to HISPAC and thank you to the members of the audience for your time. My name is Adam Myron, and I'm running for judge because I care deeply about ensuring public confidence in the justice system. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. Palm Beach County is where I grew up. It's where I went through our public school system. It's where I graduated from Suncoast High School. It's where I chose to return shortly after college at Emory University and law school at the George Washington University Law School in Washington, DC. And it's now where I'm raising my own family with my wife, Stephanie Cagnett Myron. And we have our 2 wonderful boys, ages 3 and 1. I've been practicing law for approximately 18 years. And in that time, I've been in court over and over and over again, primarily in the areas of complex civil, business, and commercial litigation, trust and estate litigation, and professional liability law. What I do requires deep analysis and, quite frankly, doesn't end up in trial very often because of the enormous cost of going to trial and the uncertainty of an outcome of a deeply complex case. But that is what I've done over the course of my career, 18-year career. I've been in trial. I've done a lot of appellate work, including arguing oral argument to the United States Court of Appeal for the 11th Circuit. I've arbitrated cases. I am also a certified circuit mediator. And the reason I do that is because I love helping people as a neutral and impartial facilitator of conflict resolution. And I hope that by serving as a judge, I'll be able to accomplish some of those same goals. I have the legal skills to be an excellent circuit court judge and serve this community. But that's just one part of it. And I've also received the endorsements of various organizations and hundreds of people, organizations such as the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the Palm Beach County Human Rights Council, 3 former Florida bar presidents, and the Sun Sentinel. And just as important as my legal skills is the temperament that I will bring to court every day. As I said, after a thorough evaluative process, the Sun Sentinel endorsed me in this race. And in their endorsement, they stated that with my opponent on the bench, they felt that confidence in the justice system was lacking. And this deeply troubles me because I recognize that most people don't meet a judge until one of the worst days of their life, and that a judge must set a tone of civility and respect in the courtroom for others to mirror. I think my time is almost up, so I will conclude by saying again, my name is Adam Myron, and I'm asking for your vote on August 18th. And if together you want to make a positive difference in our community, you'll find my name between two others on the ballot. And you just have to remember Myron in the middle. Thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you, candidate Myron. We appreciate it. I'd like to proceed with the next one, Judge Jaimie Goodman.
Good evening, everybody. And thank you for spending your time with us this evening. I'm Judge Jaimie Goodman. I've been your circuit court judge now for over 5.5 years. I've served in the Circuit Civil Division, in fact, 2 Circuit Civil Divisions, the Probate and Guardianship Division. I've presided over civil litigation, including medical malpractice, product liability cases, premises liability cases, family matters, including divorce, child custody, child support, domestic violence hearings. And I've also volunteered my time on Saturdays to serve as a judge for the City of Riviera Beach Drug Court. Further, I've also been a judge at first appearances on the weekend. I have the most jury trial experience in this race of my 2 other opponents. In fact, Mr. Myron has 0 jury trial experience. And even though he said he's been in trial, he has 0 jury trial experience. And how do I know that? Is because he signed a certification with the Florida Bar. And that was not something that was known at the time of our Sun Sentinel interview. Now, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I grew up in Queens, New York. I went to school at Cornell University and Cornell Law School. At Cornell University, I was at the School of Industrial and Labor Relations. And then after Cornell Law School, I went to work in Detroit, Michigan. And then in 1993, I opened up my own practice representing hardworking civil rights victims who faced workplace discrimination. And then I moved to Florida and I continued with that practice. And during my time in Florida, I also engaged in a number of community activities, including being active with the League of Women Voters of Palm Beach County. I was involved with different voters' rights issues, and then I became a judge in 2015. Is my time up? Okay. Further, I'm proud to receive the endorsement of the AFL-CIO, Treasure Coast, the Palm Beach County Classroom Teachers Association. I've received endorsements from over 31 present and former elected officials. I've also received the endorsement of Women's Issues Now, and we all received the co-endorsement of the Palm Beach County Human Rights Council. It was a co-endorsement. It wasn't an endorsement of just one candidate. I've also received the endorsement of former Supervisor of Elections, Susan Booker. But most important, I have the jury trial experience. Mr. Myron, 0 jury trials, Ms. Sipperstein, 2 jury trials. Now is not the time in the world that we are facing for on-the-job training. I want to thank you all for your time, and I ask you to vote for Jaimie Goodman and re-elect Jaimie Goodman on August 18th. Thank you very much.
I would like to say thank you to all the candidates and all the judges that were present here tonight. And I would like politely to invite them now to leave following, the regulations on electoral rules. We don't make those ones, we just follow them. So thank you very much for being here with us
Excuse
tonight.
me, Norm. I believe we have a few questions that were emailed to us for the judges.
Okay, yes. That's right, you're right. Thank you for reminding me. Some of the questions that, probably you already covered them, but let's start with our first candidate, Jaianna.
Yes, I'm still here.
All right. Why are you running for this particular position?
I am running for this position because one, I am qualified, and two, there is a need for my experience, my compassion, my courtroom demeanor on the bench. There's also a need for my knowledge on the bench. I know the law. I research the law. I am able to apply the law in a fair and just way, and that is what's currently missing on the bench, which is why I am running.
Thank you. I would like to ask another question. It's going to be the same question to all the judges. The second question I would like to ask is, what is your pledge to the voters of Palm Beach County if you are elected or retain your seat, and what policies do you intend to implement that will either benefit, provide an equal footing to the growing Hispanic communities and business in your district?
Could you repeat that question? I'm sorry.
Sure.
It's a compound question.
I'm sorry. What is your pledge to the voters of Palm Beach County if you are elected or retain your seat, and this is the people who are already, judges, and what policies do you intend to implement that will either benefit and provide equal footing to the growing Hispanic communities and businesses in your district?
Okay. If I am elected, one thing that I can guarantee is that every person that comes before me will have the opportunity to be heard. They will be listened to and considered in a fair and just way. There will be no biases. There will be no prejudging of a case before it's been presented. I will allow each person that comes before me, regardless of their ethnicity, regardless of their race, regardless of their gender, the opportunity to present their case so they may be heard. That way the judge and or the jury will have the applicable law to apply to those facts so a just and fair verdict may be rendered. Additionally to that, I do plan on providing the knowledge and the education for every person that comes into the court so they'll be aware of what's going on and how it affects them, regardless of whether it affects their day-to-day or a long-term consequences. I believe the judge has the position to be able to, it's a position of respect. And by being in that position, the judge has the ability to directly affect a person's life on a day-to-day. And that can only be done if you understand what's going on, and it has to be consumed with compassion. And that's what I can bring.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for the question.
Okay. Judge Debra Moses, Stephen, please, the same question. What are you running for this particular position? Why?
I'm sorry. I've been a judge now for 20 years. I am running for this position because everything that I have done in my life has been toward the service of the community that I live in. The schools that I went to all emphasize community service and making sure that you contribute back to your community. When I started my legal career, it was with the Public Defender's Office for 13 years. Then as a judge, as I've said, it is a job of service. And it means that each day I do what my opponent says she wants to do. That is, I explain to people what the process is. I make sure, because many of them, it is the first time they ever come to court. I make sure that they understand what's going on. I take the time with the defendants as well as the victims and their families. Because I'm in domestic violence, we usually have both in the courtroom. I take the time to explain to them so they understand what's happening to them so that they know what the process is. I take the time with all of them to hear them, to hear what they have to say, to treat them with fairness, and to treat them with dignity and respect. That is what I did before, and that is what I will continue to do as your Palm Beach County judge for the next 6 years. Thank you.
Thank you. And the second question, what is your pledge to the voters of Palm Beach County if you are elected or retain your seat? And what policy do you intend to implement will either benefit or provide an equal footing to the growing Hispanic community and businesses in your district?
Well, first of all, when people come into our courtroom, I think the most important thing is to make sure that they understand what's happening. A lot of times, and this came home to me when I took a trip into a Spanish-speaking country where I didn't understand what was happening. It's so important to know that there's somebody there to interpret and to know what's going on. So I think it's important to increase our interpreters. Now, I don't have the ability, I'm not the chief judge to do that, but I know that that's one of the things that they intend to do. I should also emphasize that each person who comes into my courtroom should be treated exactly the same. What does that mean? That means that nobody gets an advantage over the other person, that we consider everyone for who they are and what they are as human beings, as people. This is what I try to do each and every day with anyone who comes into my courtroom. So my pledge to the voters of Palm Beach County is that I will continue to strive to do this. I educate myself on a regular basis, not just by the Conference of County Court Judges or the Advanced Judicial College or the National Center for State Courts, but I also go and I find courses that help to educate me on religion and culture so that I am not making mistakes, or if I am making mistakes, they're honest mistakes that I can be corrected on and then proceed properly. It's important to me that when people in my courtroom, they feel good about the fact that someone has explained things to them, heard what they had to say, and then treated them fairly. You don't have to agree with my decision, but you need to understand why I made that decision. That's what's important, and that's my pledge.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We move to the next one, Judge Guillen. He's still with us, or he already left? Maybe he's already gone. Okay. So let's go to the next one. Candidate Henry Quinn Johnson.
Hey, thank you. I'm running for this position because I'm uniquely qualified to serve, and I think it's important that that the voters know that my opponent will not be able to complete a 6-year term. But I'm also running because there needs to be more diversity on the courts. Right now, as far as I know, there's only one Hispanic circuit court judge, only one combat veteran judge, and I believe that's Judge Louis Delgado. And when he ran in 2016, he had no support from the legal community. He had no support from the establishment, but he ran because he was qualified and people wanted to see some diversity. I'm running because currently there are no Black men on the circuit court bench at all. And if we want change and diversity, we have to, present and make ourselves available to serve. But I also, not only am I qualified, but I also have the longest public service record, over 27 years of military service, and also service as a prosecutor, assistant former attorney general, and also assistant state attorney here in the state of Florida. And so that's why I'm running, and we want to see change. The second question, what will I pledge? I pledge to be fair and to treat everyone with dignity and respect. Most people, when they come to court, if they can't afford an attorney, they don't think that they could get a fair shake. And then you have people who can't afford an attorney. Sometimes they'll hire 3 or 4 different lawyers for one case just to increase their chances. So in general, most people don't trust the judicial system. But when you have someone like myself who's willing to come and be publicly vetted, by the community, I hope that would help bring some some confidence in the judiciary. And so again, I will be fair and respectable to everyone. Thank you. Mr. Pagan, we can't hear you.
I was muted. Sorry. The next candidate, Adam Myron. Same questions.
Okay, so why am I running for this seat? It's a good question. I'm glad you asked it. I'm running for this seat for the same reason that I mentioned early on, which is that I am passionate about ensuring public confidence in the justice system. So let me tell you something that our local bar association does. I think it's something important that you all should know about, but that my opponent didn't mention. They conduct every 2 years an evaluation by soliciting the input from the attorneys in the county. And the goal that the Palm Beach County Bar Association has in doing so is twofold. First, they want to assist the judiciary in a positive way to improve the quality of justice. And I'm actually reading right now on my computer screen from their stated purpose. So this isn't me paraphrasing, this is their words. To improve the quality of justice and the administration of our courts. So in other words, one of their stated goals is so that judges can learn from these polls. The second is to provide the public with information regarding those who hold judicial office. They say the Palm Beach County Bar Association has a vital interest in retaining on the bench judicial officers of the highest possible qualifications so that our courts may have the utmost confidence and respect of the public and the bar. Well, over the last 4 years of his 5.5-year term, my opponent has received historically low bar poll rankings from those who must certify that they have been before him in a 2-year span, at least 3 times for a hearing or 1 time for a trial. So the way it works is the Bar Association sends out to all 7,700 or so attorneys in the county the invitation to participate. But many of those attorneys don't actually even litigate cases. They don't go into court. And so you have to eliminate right from the get-go many people who won't be participating because they can't. They can't certify a trial or 3 hearings before that judge. Then you have to take out the people who do criminal law. If we're talking about this race, which is currently in the civil division, it's for a seat in the civil division. You have to take out people who do criminal law only. You have to take out people who do family law, where you don't have jury trials. I know Judge Goodman says that jury trials are so important, but there's only 2 divisions where you actually have jury trials of 5 divisions on the court. But you take out all of those people, and then you're left with a really small subset from that original number. And you have to say, well, who are the lawyers that go before Judge Goodman often enough that they can make a certification to the Bar Association about their evaluations? And you get a really small number. Nevertheless, there were more people that responded about Judge Goodman than any other judge on the court. And those numbers that they gave him, the rankings that they were historically low. I don't think that they didn't get better over time, by the way. And I don't think that instills confidence in the justice system. I think that degrades confidence in the justice system. I'm running for this seat because I want to help people. I want to repair divisions. I care about our community. I care so much, I've been risking my own health at various food distributions, helping families in need during the COVID crisis. So that's why I'm running for this seat. I'm glad you asked. Thank you for the indulgence of a few more seconds.
Thank you. And Judge Jaimie Goodman?
Yes.
A question?
Thank you for your time again. You know, they say that when you can't talk about your own experience positively, you attack your opponent. And that's what's happened here. Mr. Myron simply has no jury trial experience. I'm running because I have that jury trial experience. The people of Palm Beach County deserve a judge who has that jury trial experience, who gets it right. In the jury trials that I've presided over, my rulings have never been reversed on appeal. In fact, I've been asked to serve and have served as a faculty member at Florida Judicial College in 2019 and 2020, teaching new circuit court judges civil trial procedure and case management. The data indicates that I have one of the best records in the Circuit Civil Division for managing caseloads. Mr. Myron's whole campaign is based on a bar poll in which there were 7,700 eligible voters. Out of those individuals, over just 278 voted as it relates to myself. Thousands of lawyers have appeared before me during my term. Most important, just let me finish, Mr. Myron. Thank you.
Pardon me, I wasn't on mute, Judge Goodman. My apologies.
Well, thank you, sir. But most importantly, Mr. Myron has never, ever appeared before me. All right? And that's because he hasn't been in court in the manner in which he represents. But the bottom line is I have the experience. This is not the time for on-the-job training. And further, I love what I do. I wake up every morning knowing that I'm going to come in and do the right thing. Now, as it relates to your second question, bottom line is I try to be fair. I am fair to everybody every day. When folks from the community come in, whether Hispanic, racial, any issue where there's a need for an interpreter, or let's say we're selecting a jury and somebody on that panel indicates, well, I own a business, I have a child at home. I take the time as your trial judge to make sure that everybody's rights are protected. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Judge Guillen.
Yes, I'm just back on. I'm sorry about that. Got disconnected, and then I was under the impression that that was the end of it in any event. Sorry.
It's okay. We still have, we're running about the same time rules. So
Okay.
very quickly, please.
Okay.
Take two questions.
I didn't hear the question. Sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. The first question, why are you running for this particular position?
All right. 3 minutes, you said? Same time rules or what? All right, whatever. I'm running for this position because I have held this position for a number of years. I've done a very good job with the position, as is evidenced by the fact that I was selected as the jurist of the year in Palm Beach County in June of 2018, and as reflected by all of the evaluations that have been conducted by the Palm Beach County Bar Association over the years since I have been a judge. The people of Palm Beach County deserve to have and to keep in their service a judge such as myself, who has demonstrated that he has the knowledge, the efficiency, the impartiality, the fairness, and the cordiality and the civility to continue to preside over cases of all different types in the circuit level of the judicial system. This is no time really to have anybody who is inexperienced insofar as presiding over cases. I've presided over thousands of cases, non-jury trials, jury trials, evidentiary hearings, non-evidentiary hearings, hearings of all different kinds. And I'm running to continue to serve the people of Palm Beach County and the state of Florida because they deserve someone with my experience and expertise.
And I think that basically summarizes, because the second question was about what do you pledge to voters of Palm Beach County if you're elected or retain your seat? And what policies do you intend to implement that will either benefit or provide an equal footing to the growing Hispanic communities and the businesses in your district?
Well, as of now, I am presiding over as I mentioned earlier, a felony criminal division. So that question would have to do with individuals more so than businesses at this point. However, I had a hearing today, which involved businesses was it today or yesterday? It may have been yesterday. It was actually a hearing yesterday, which involved businesses in Pahokee and Belglade, and alleged criminal activity that occurred at those businesses. The business owners were irate with what had happened in their facilities and on their grounds. That called me to make sure that I was careful and respectful of the business owners as well as the defendants, because the defendants, of course, are presumed innocent until they are proven guilty, and we haven't reached the trial in that particular case. But the bottom line is this: everyone who has ever walked into my courtroom, the cases over which I have presided over the years, has, I am confident, felt as if they have gotten a fair shake, so to speak, when they have received my rulings, whether the rulings were for them or against them. It didn't matter. I've had lawyers tell me that, and in fact, I had a criminal defendant tell me that about 2 weeks ago. He thanked me for the ruling in which the ruling that I made, even though I sent him away for 5 years in prison. So, and he was not Hispanic, he was Black. But in any event, that is the case with everyone who appears in front of me. I will be very sure that everyone is treated with respect, dignity, fairness, and impartiality, regardless of background.
Thank you very much again,
Yes, sir.
to all the judges for your participation tonight. And in compliance with electoral rules, I would like to ask the judges to politely say goodbye, because now we're gonna get to the other politicians and candidates that are gonna be running, and they don't mix up, So we wanna make sure we're compliant with all the rules.
Thank you, Juan.
Thank you very much.
Take
Thank
care.
you
Thank
for
you.
the
Very much. I
opportunity.
enjoyed it.
Thank you
Take
so
care.
much for your time.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much.
I would like to introduce you now to Daniel Lustig. He's our Director of Communication for HISPAC. So Daniel, the floor is yours.
Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for listening so attentively to the folks who are running to be the judges in Palm Beach County, which I believe it's an incredibly important position in our county, because they decide the cases that matter to business owners, individuals, and everyone. So just as you who may be running for office to craft the law and have the law signed into, or the bill signed into law, and prepare that to have the president or the governor sign it into law, or just as you may be running for the commission and you're going to create an ordinance, these judges have to make sure they interpret the law, and then they have to do it well. And if they don't do it well, it's going to cost people a lot of money, because they have to then appeal it if they don't believe that they got a fair shot. So it is all of our responsibilities to vote intelligently, and that's why we have this forum, so that we can hear from everyone and we can have everyone's thoughts and opinions as to issues. So the ground rules are going to be the same. We're going to have we're going to do this on a 3-minute basis, and we're going to start our forum by inviting, let me just pull up my list, by inviting the candidates from different groups that are running. And then I have a list of questions that were emailed to me, and maybe perhaps to make this a faster process, if you don't mind, if you all have a pen and a paper to write them down, so I don't have to repeat them all over again, and maybe you can incorporate your positions and speak of this a little bit. The questions are, why are you running for this particular position? What are the qualities that make you a better candidate for the seat? And what is your pledge to voters in this county or in Broward County? Because we have someone running for, I believe is Coral Springs. If you're elected or retain your seat, and what policies do you intend to implement that will either benefit, provide an equal footing to the growing Hispanic communities and businesses in your district? So having said that, I am going to give the floor to Mr. Abel Pena, who is running for commission for seat number 3 in Coral Springs. Mr. Pena.
Good evening. I hope you and your family are doing well. Before I start, I wanted to share information that is going to impact the future of the next generation. Actually, I belong to the IEEE with the Artificial Intelligence Global Initiative. I'm representing Florida. And last year, I was selected to go to Germany to work for 1 week and develop strategies and policies that is going to have an impact in the socioeconomic and the legal aspect. About my education, I'm an electrical engineer. My experience is working for the Department of Defense in military project. In addition to that, I graduated from the United Nations in diplomacy. I encourage you that you see my plan, able2020.com. This is a strategy that I have developed with the city that eventually you have to consider because we have to create artificial intelligence strategy in Florida, in addition to the United States. And as a part of my strategy, I have developed the training, how the city can become smart, how to develop the cybersecurity strategy that we need to be able to actually be safe in the future. Again, able2020.com, you're gonna see all the answer, the strategy, how I'm going to actually help the city to prepare for the next generation. And if you have any question about the strategy, artificial intelligence in Florida, please, because I'm the only person working on that. Thank you for your time and please be safe.
Thank you, sir. And let me just ask you, I understand that you are running your campaign on this artificial intelligence platform, but are there any other
I'm sorry, artificial intelligence is not a platform. Actually, right now we are in the 4th industrial revolution that actually combine artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things. The reason I decided to run is because when I came from Germany, I evaluated the city strategic plan, and there is no strategy about technology, and the city needs to bring more company to create new type of job. And right now, if you ask everybody in South Florida, the people that need to be aware about the 4th industrial revolution, artificial intelligence strategy, how to do that. It is the future. This is like electricity. We don't have another choice. You can see that every day in the legal, when you use Netflix, when you use Facebook, everything is related with artificial intelligence. Did I answer your question, Daniel?
Yes, you did, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, my pleasure.
We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Since you are the only one from that race over here, do you want to answer and or comment on the last question, which is your pledge to the voters of Coral Springs would be, I assume, to bring more technology into the city based on what you're telling me today. What else would you intend to do to implement either a benefit to those businesses, Hispanic businesses that may be growing in your community and individuals of Hispanic descent within Coral Springs if you are elected to be the elected official for your seat?
You have to remember, Daniel, before you decide to bring technology, you have to develop a strategy. As a part of the strategy, there is a smart city strategy, how the city can compete about the sustainability goal of the United Nations. And you have to create that strategy to be able to attract company. And if you attract company, our community, and I say our, everybody, because I feel like I am a citizen from all over the world, that way we can generate different type of job. Actually, in South Florida, you know that the main business is restaurant. And we have to change that. The people see like a Florida is, you know, let's have a margarita and have a good time at a restaurant. We need to have more technology. And we have to actually work together. Palm Beach, Broward County, and Dade County, we have to create a connected strategy to see how we're going to be able to compete, because this is a global economy right now. And if we don't do something with the technology, people are going to start leaving Florida because there is not really nothing here to attract technology company. And that's one of the main reasons, because you don't see Google coming here. You don't see Microsoft in general and other technology company. I would recommend again, any question that you have, Able 2020 is a plan, a strategy, including that I'm planning to teach, because I used to teach at the university. If you're really serious about the future of your children, please take a look at that and think about it, because we have to do it. We don't have another choice. We have a commitment for the next generation.
Thank you, Mr. Pena. We appreciate
You're very
you
welcome.
coming tonight. All right, our next
Then-
candidate will be candidate for the Port of Palm Beach Group 2, which will be Ms. Katherine Waldron.
If I may just say very quickly, because
Sure.
I see some new folks that have joined the group, we have 3 minutes for each answer. I'll let you know when you have 30 seconds left. Prusa channel and La Guia News are transmitting live at the moment, so if anybody has any issues, let us know. And you would be excluded from video. And we're also, aside from transmitting live, we're also going to be airing this through digital networks through the whole country. So La Guia News and Prusa channel transmitting live at the moment. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much. We're actually going to move forward we're going to move forward to Port of Palm Beach Group 3, which we're going to start with Clarence Williams. Mr. Williams, you're on mute, so we can't hear you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm well.
Great. It is a pleasure to be here, and thank you for providing this opportunity. My name is Clarence Williams, and I'm a candidate for the Port of Palm Beach Group 3. I have been in public service for over 40 years, 27 years as a senior management level position with the city of Cincinnati, practiced law for 10 years. I also was the police chief in the city of Riviera Beach for the past 16 years. I'm running for the Port of Palm Beach because I have the experience, because I understand the true value of port authorities. I understand that they were created by the legislature to be economic engines for the districts in which they were created. Our port is a fantastic port. Some would say it has a $250 million impact on the surrounding communities. I'm running because I want to see the port use its economic muscle to create opportunities, small business and job opportunities throughout the entire district. The Port District is bounded on the south by Southern Boulevard, from the ocean to the lake. On the north, Donald Ross Road, from that same ocean to that same lake. Within that district, our port has the ability to create economic opportunities that not only serve that footprint that we know, Riviera Beach, that's in Riviera Beach and northern West Palm Beach, but the entire port district that I described. We're talking about an inland port and revitalizing and taking the lead on that inland port and creating it in the Western communities. I've met with all three mayors. I've been endorsed by all three mayors in the Western community. And to the person, they say that an inland port and revitalizing and someone taking the lead on that particular project would be of paramount importance to them and spur economic growth. I'm looking forward to joining existing members on that dais like Katherine Waldron to talk about and lead on that inland port. I also want to transform the waterfront near and around the port. It is important to do that. Right now, we have a cruise ship that is a substantial portion of the revenue that is generated by the port. But I call it a cruise to nowhere because people cruise there, they get off and there's nothing there but a parking lot for them. You know, my vision involves seeing a world-class aquarium, let's say, or something like that, that creates a destination point anchored there. And from that would come small businesses.
Thank you, sir.
Are we out of time?
Your 3 minutes are up, but I have a question for you, which you may lead into your next thought. And the question was, and it's the same as I'm going to ask the other candidates. So, what is your pledge to the voters of Palm Beach County if you're elected to this particular seat? And what policies do you intend to implement that will either benefit or provide an equal footing to growing Hispanic communities and businesses in, well, we're talking about the Port of Palm Beach, so for businesses affected by the Port of Palm Beach?
Well, for the Port of Palm Beach, as I've mentioned, ports are created to be economic engines. And communities, in particular communities of color and communities that have been historically underserved, are never going to be taken seriously until they become economically viable. Port authorities were created to spark economic growth and development. I've seen it work. I've seen it work in other communities where I've served, and our port has the same opportunity. We shouldn't be focused on necessarily the limitations of the port, but the potentials of the port. As police chief in the city of Riviera Beach, that police department was one of the most diverse police departments in Palm Beach County. So I believe in service providers, government reflecting the community that it serves. So my pledge as a policymaker on that board would be make certain that we are reflective of the community that we serve in our contracting and our employment efforts, in every aspect of our interaction with our communities.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you coming out tonight and speak to the voters of Palm Beach County, especially because this is obviously live, and I'm sure everyone wants to hear every single person that is running for office who will be representing them. I have to move, though, for the next candidate that's running for the same seat, which would be Roderick Clarke. Mr. Clarke?
Good afternoon. I am honored to be a part of this great panel. I hail all the way from Montego Bay, Jamaica. Why am I the most qualified? I've spent 20 years in the United States Marine Corps. At age 17, I enlisted right here in West Palm Beach. I've traveled around the world twice, from the Horn of Africa to run a port in Okinawa, Japan. I'm the only candidate, besides the one that are sitting, that have ran a port outside of the United States, which does make me more than qualified for the position. I've led 2 battalions into Iraq during 9/11, which successfully repelled any attacks or any future attacks that America could have faced. Once again, like I've said, I've served 20 years in the United States Marine Corps. Leadership, discipline, honesty, integrity are the hallmark of what makes a good Marine. And that's what I'm bringing tonight, and that's what I'm bringing to the people. The people need a candidate untainted by political rhetoric. Unlike all my opponents, they've either held a political office or been in the politics of some degree. I'm not a politician, and I don't have an aspiration to be a politician. I'm just a servant of the people, and that's what I'm running. I want to serve the people and bring my leadership to bear. As a commissioner on this board, I want to transform the board into be more accountability to the people, to help the people, to be more transparent, so that the people of Riviera Beach and West Palm Beach will know what the port has to offer and what the port can do for them. Right now, if you have a poll, a lot of people don't know anything about the port. What does the port involve? How does the port generate money? How is the money spent? That's what I'm bringing right now tonight. Honesty, transparency, leadership, which I know I have, which I can say that I'm maybe the only one that have that. Honesty. As a minister in my local community, integrity, 20 years in the Marine Corps, proven leadership. That's what I bring, sir.
Great. Thank you, sir. And then I like to know what is your pledge to the voters of Palm Beach County if you're elected to this position, and what policies do you intend to implement that will benefit or provide an equal footing to the growing Hispanic communities and or communities of color, but Hispanic communities primarily because this is HISPAC, and businesses that will be affected by your position within the Port of Palm Beach?
What I like to open it up a lot when it comes to equal opportunity for jobs. I would love definitely to have an equal balance of employees from all backgrounds, whether Hispanic, Afro-American, Jamaican, Haitian. I like to see every walk of life represented. Muslim, it doesn't matter. I just want to make sure that everyone is represented well as an opportunity on the Port of Palm Beach. Not only that, I like to incorporate the colleges, the students, the young engineers to be a part of learning what the Port of Palm Beach offers, which is something that we can definitely take advantage of because they're the future. And if they know what we offer, they could possibly be the next future engineers, possibly the next future leaders, possibly the next future president, prime ministers, or the next commissioners. So I would like to open that and make that viable to every student in our local community. Give them more options than what they think. We need someone that can come into the community, someone with integrity. As I
Yeah, Mr. Clarke, your connection went out. I think we're having a bad connection.
Yes, sir. I'm back again. I'm back again.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So I believe the last thing I heard from you was that you were discussing students and communities. I believe that's what you said. So I'm just that if I heard you correctly, of course.
Yes, I would love to incorporate more students in the local community to be a part of the engineering working of the port, to have knowledge of what the port offers and how the port can benefit students, options versus taking their knowledge somewhere else.
Mr. Clarke, your connection is not coming through.
Can you hear me, sir?
I can. It just goes, it fades in and out.
Yeah, I believe time is up, Daniel.
Yeah. So we appreciate your coming to the forum, and we appreciate the attendance of the port of those folks running for the Port of Palm Beach. Next, I see Mr. Vasquez for sheriff in Broward County. So I believe you are the only one left from our neighboring county. So I'd like to give you the floor.
You need to mute.
I think it's either mute or Mr. Vasquez, can you hear me?
Santiago? That's mute. You're mute.
There we go. I got you now. Sorry. Thank you very much. I'm Santiago Vasquez, and I'm running for Broward County Sheriff. And we, as members of this community, deserve a sheriff that brings everyone together and leads with integrity, accountability, and the ability to lead, hearing the diverse voices of Broward County. The office of the sheriff cannot be denigrated by scandals, questions of integrity, negative associations, and he or she must lead by example. I have served honorably over 23 years the community as a sergeant of the Broward County Sheriff's Office. Active duty in the United States Army with combat experience, and I am honored to have been awarded the Gold Cross for my actions, putting my life in jeopardy to protect the lives of citizens and my fellow Broward County Sheriff deputies. I also have a certificate of leadership from an accredited university, and I am ready to lead the Broward Sheriff's Office into positive change for the department from day one. I, along with the department, will be accountable to every citizen of the county. I will implement changes, including independent oversight, the CART program, better allocations for the budget, regular mental health for our police officers and evaluations, and improve the image of law enforcement in our county. I, unlike others in this election, am not owned by special interest groups or big donors, affected by questionable integrity or actions that would disqualify citizens from most types of employment, much less as sheriff. Questions of leadership abilities or even associated with such individuals as three of my opponents. I am compelled to speak out these unfortunate lapses of integrity because as sheriff, I must not only speak against injustice, but must act out against it. I am and will be accountable to you, the citizens of which I am proud to have served. As sheriff, I will give you a department of which not to only to be proud, but to trust in and utilize as a resource for a better Broward. Together, we will make our community a safe and protected environment for our children, elders, minorities, the LGBTQ community, and all citizens. I want a sheriff's office that inspires confidence and not fear, that saves lives and not take lives. I am proud to be your Democratic candidate for a positive change to law enforcement in Broward County. My name is Santiago Vasquez, and I hope that I can get your support, your vote on August 18th. Thank you.
Perfect time.
Daniel, you're on. You're muted.
You're muted. You're muted, Daniel.
Oh, you should have just heard the nice things I said about you. I said we appreciate your service both in the military and to the citizens of Broward County. And I'd like to ask you the same question that I asked the other candidates. What is your pledge to the voters of Broward County if you're elected to be the sheriff in Broward County? And what policies do you intend to implement that will benefit or provide an equal footing to the growing Hispanic community and businesses and minorities in your county that are exposed on a day-to-day basis to police officers and to deputies, and who may be afraid of the police because where they come from, usually police is not, they don't know what to expect from the police officers.
Is that for me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, thank you very much. We know that right now there has been issues with police officers having abuse. My father was a victim of police brutality, and I remember that at the age of 5 when it happened. So police work has not changed in decades, and we know that we must change police work. Now with our politicians coming here, we know that we need the positive change for our law enforcement, and we need to have a comprehensive plan, and that's what I am bringing. I'm bringing better education for our law enforcement, a new independent oversight for our law enforcement, a higher standards for recruitment, especially hiring out of the Hispanic community as well. Broward County, the Hispanic population is growing in Broward County and in Palm Beach County. Our sheriff's office should reflect the diversity in our community. And these are programs that I will be bringing. I want to make sure that the Hispanic community, as I am, I understand, because what's happening is some of them don't speak English and they're afraid to contact with the police. I'm going to break those barriers and I'm going to build bridges together. And as your sheriff, I'm going to make sure that what we do is we're going to build resources for our undocumented citizens to come to the police department, to make sure that they have that confidence. And I'm going to make sure that there's transparency and accountability on that. So my whole thing is we need to build a confident police department, one that is going to talk with our community, have community relations, and make it a prime example that we, the sheriff's office, the law enforcement, work for the people and not for the government. That's the difference. That's what I'm bringing in, diversity.
Daniel, unmute yourself, please.
Yes.
Oh, again, thank you. Thank you, Sergeant Vasquez. Thank you for your attendance.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we're going to hear from School District 2, David DiCrescenzo.
I don't think David's with us.
He's okay, so let's move to Ms. Virginia Savietto.
Hi, how are you, everyone? Good evening. Before I even say anything, I am very sad for Mirta Lois's husband, and I really, if anybody's watching, please, my condolences to the family. He's been a staple in our community for years, taking photos at every event, and I'm very, very, very sad for our loss, and very taken aback. I just got a message. Again, my condolences to the Lois's family and to our whole community at large. Again, my name is Virginia Savietto, and I am running for the school board, District 2. And I'm going to mix it up. So actually, so I can answer all questions maybe in one. Why am I running? My qualifications, and why am I the best candidate? Actually, I'm the only candidate who is actually a mother in this district. My son is 9 years old. His name is Luca, and he attends a public school in the district. I understand the problems with virtual learning, distance learning, the anxieties that we have, parents like myself. I'm a working mom, what to do, what not to do, all the technology problems that we have. I truly understand, and we need someone in the district that is not only Hispanic as myself, but has a stake in education. I'm a certified teacher with the school district in Palm Beach County. I taught English as a second language to adults. I taught them ESOL, and I prepared them for a few years to get their GED certification. And I'm very proud of that work because thanks to teaching, it got me into public service. I'm an adjunct professor with the college currently. I'm a member of the PTA, and I have been a member of the PTA at Son's School, Pine Jog Elementary, for the past 40 years. And I work for Commission, Palm Beach County, County Commission, District 2. District 2 for the county overlaps the school District 2. I have deep, deep ties in this district with community leaders, with business leaders, with parents, with teachers, with everyone, the faith organizations. I'm very proud of working in the district. Not only I work in the district, but I have lived in District 2 for 32 years. And let me tell you, I came from Argentina when I was 13. I went to Lake Worth High School, and I'm a true immigrant. I had to learn the language. I had to learn the culture. My parents had to learn the culture, the language, and it was a challenge back then. Still a challenge now with our students that are coming from other countries that don't know the language. I'm very passionate about closing the disparity gap, very passionate about teaching English as a second language and to prepare them, the students, everyone, but especially our minority students, to be prepared to go to college or to learn a trade school, a trade, because it happened to me, was very difficult when I learned English and then I had to jump from high school to actual college. It was very difficult. So I know first experience how that affects not only the students, but the community at large. I have 4 degrees. I have an AA from college, 2 bachelor's degree, 1 in legal studies and 1 in graphic design. And I have a master's degree in design and media management. Very importantly, I am supported by the school board member who's leaving the seat, Chuck Shaw. It's a open seat. He called me and said, Virginia, I am not running for office and I'll support you. I'm also endorsed by HISPAC and La Guia. Very proud of those endorsements, and I have a few other endorsements. Again, I'm running because I'm the only candidate who has a stake in education in this district. I'm a mother, teacher, professor, works and lives in this country and in this district. And I have been hands-on, for the people that know me, for the past 17 years, doing things for our community. I don't have to tell you that I will be doing things because I have been doing things. I've been advocating for the Hispanic community. That's why you see the census sign behind me, because I've been advocating for the Hispanic community to be counted. And I'm very passionate about the work we do together. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Savietto. Thank you. And you know, because it's getting late, what I'm going to do is I'm going to limit my the answer to the one question that I ask to one answer of 30 seconds. Your best 30 seconds that you can give me. That's the one I'm going to limit it to. And I want to know, what is your pledge to the voters of Palm Beach County if you are elected to this seat as it relates to the growing Hispanic communities that may be affected by your seat and your election?
My district is very diverse. We have a majority of Hispanics, and I'm going to be hands-on with virtual learning, with distance learning, with the technology, with all the needs that we have. We're going to close out the disparity gap for our students to go to college or learn a trade and to get the best education that they can. And Hispanics and immigrant kids do not learn the same way at the same speed. And I'm very passionate to actually set them up for success once they leave high school, but we have to make sure that we get them way before they get out of high school. That's my pledge, to be very involved. I've had my phone number for 20 years. I'm not going anywhere, and I will be very accessible, as I am right now, to the community, and I'm very proud to be part of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm going to move forward, and I appreciate your attention. I'm going to move forward, and I'm going to ask the U.S. House Congress District 22, Darlene Swaffar. Am I pronouncing your last name correctly? Ms. Swaffar?
It's Swaffar.
Swaffar, I apologize.
No worries.
Ms. Swaffar, you have 3 minutes. So tell us what you're
going to allow for this?
Hopefully it's enough, as much time as everyone else.
Yes, it is.
So thank you, Santos, Daniel, Juan, and Sam, for the opportunity in HISPAC. My name is Darlene Swaffar. I am running for Congress for Florida District 22. I am trademarked as the Medicare lady, and I am the only candidate running in the state of Florida with expertise in health insurance, Medicare, individual, as well as group. I've been in this industry for 11 years. I also have expertise in economic development. I live and I work in my district. My business is in Deerfield Beach, originally from Brooklyn, New York, and I'm a South Florida resident for over 27 years. I've also served my community with distinction and have accumulated many community service awards. All of what I did community service based was all unpaid. When you're thinking about sending a candidate to Congress, you're looking for somebody that has specific strengths, one of them being fiscal responsibility. My background in education was accounting and finance. I was an accounting major in high school for 3 years, 2 years in college. My personal debt is 0, as well as my business was self-funded and is debt-free. You're looking for somebody that has experience in project management. My business has a lot of project management. I've got a staff retail locations during our busiest season. I have an insurance brokerage company and a team of 15 agents. And we are quite successful. I wound up getting an award from the Small Business Administration TED Center for Business Growth in 2019. I'm also, you want to have a candidate that can staff a very solid team. I have corporate recruiting experience in my background for 8 years. I know how to put together a job description. I have behavioral interviewing techniques experience. I'm a strategic thinker. I'm also focused on problem solving. That's what entrepreneurs do. We are problem solvers. We're always looking at win-win solutions. So that's the reason. The reason why I'm running is I'm tired of how things are going in our country, and I want to get into Congress and help our president drain the swamp. That is the ultimate goal. I am a constitutionalist. I am pro law and order, pro Constitution, pro First and Second Amendment. And as far as what policies I want to focus on, I am against HB 51, which would make Washington D.C. a state. That's unconstitutional. I'm against HB 5717, which would affect our Second Amendment rights and our ability. It adds more layers in our ability to get weapons, ammunition, as well as further background checks. I am against the PRO Act bill, which all of this Deutsch is for, and that would essentially change our labor laws in 27 states nationwide, Florida being one of them. And it actually would require somebody who's working for a company that has unions to participate. They will no longer have a choice.
Thank you. So that complies with 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 15 seconds. I'm going to ask you the one question, and then you can, tell us about, your answer concerning your pledge to the voters of your district. If you're elected to that particular seat of Congress, what policies do you intend to implement that will benefit and or provide an equal footing to the Hispanic communities that are affected by your district, that would be your constituents in your district, and those businesses that are owned by Hispanics?
Mm-hmm. Well, my business is certified as a Hispanic and women-owned business. Over 20 years, when I served as the executive director for the Puerto Rican Chamber of Commerce, I sat in planning sessions with the Beacon Council, and I learned how Miami created a diversified economy, something that's been amiss in Broward and Palm Beach County for the last 20 years. So my goal is to attract companies to do business in Broward and Palm Beach. One of the things that I am working on is health insurance choices, protecting Medicare for our seniors. I also want to fight for more choices for individual as well as group health. My focus also is on the American worker. I want to introduce legislation putting the American worker first. When an employee works overtime, they typically do so to put food on the table, pay their bills, and perhaps save money to take their family on vacation. I want to introduce legislation that will eliminate federal, city, and state taxes on overtime pay. What that will do is it'll allow the employee to help pay their debts a lot quicker, as well as have expendable cash, which will be good for the economy. So I believe it's win-win. The other part there's one more thing that's very important.
Okay.
In 1980s, there was legislation that affected our seniors who weren't yet ready to reach full retirement age, but wanted to collect their Social Security income, and they still work. That legislation penalizes their Social Security income relative to the income that they receive in a full-time or part-time job. I want to roll back that legislation and allow our seniors not to be penalized on their Social Security income if they choose to receive it before their full retirement age.
Thank you.
Again, my name is Darlene Swaffar, and I'd love your support.
Thank you, Ms. Swaffar. We're going to move on to the U.S. Congress House Representative District 20, and I'm going to yield the floor to Greg Musselwhite. Mr. Musselwhite.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Thank you,
My name is
sir.
Greg Musselwhite, and I'm running for Congress in Florida's 20th District. The current incumbent, Alcee Hastings, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the current incumbent has been in power for 14 terms and has really neglected the district. You only have to look as far as Pahokee and Belglade to see that, parts of Riviera Beach. So the reason I decided to run was simply that it's time for change. that you look around the district and you see just, it's despicable. So as far as my background, and I'm trying to answer your 3 questions to save you some time. So my background, I was a former correctional officer, and then I learned a trade because correctional officer doesn't pay well. And when you have a young family, you need more money. So working my way up through, I became an inspector after welding for several years. And specifically, if you look at the power plant, FPL, there in Riviera Beach next to the port, I was instrumental and inspected probably 80% of the pipe welds on that plant. So if you have power in the district, I had a hand in that. So I've been trying to help the district for a long time in real physical ways. So as far as a promise to the future, I would like to bring those connections that I've made across the country for several years, 20, 30 years in industrial construction, to bring jobs to the district. Now, that's twofold. As they say, if you build it, they will come. We need to start with education and build a good resource with those employees and give them the tools that they need to compete for jobs, not only nationally, but worldwide. It's ironic that some of the candidates for the port also emphasize bringing that infrastructure, because as others have mentioned, COVID decimated our economy. It's mainly service related. We have to bring back those manufacturing jobs and include those to diversify all of the economy in the area, because we're one hurricane, we're one storm, one COVID away from, as we see the last check, we're at 14% unemployment, whereas a more diversified Jacksonville is at 11. Now, the current situation with COVID has a lot to do with that, but we need to work to make it that the next crisis that we have doesn't affect us so dramatically. My name's Greg Musselwhite, and if you want to read about our platforms, see interviews, or hit that all-important donate button, go to musselwhiteforcongress.com and learn a lot more.
Thank you, Mr. Musselwhite. And you have 30 seconds to answer the question concerning your pledge to the voters in your district. If you're elected, what kind of policies do you intend to implement that would benefit or provide equal footing to growing Hispanic communities and businesses in your particular district?
Yeah. Now, in our district, that extends through Broward County as well. But as I mentioned, the power plant construction there at Riviera Beach, I had about 50 welders that I was inspecting with that helped build that power plant. And an astonishing, maybe not for the district, but over 70% of my welders were Hispanic, and were extremely happy to be working so close to home. Most of those jobs, we travel all over the country, but we need to bring access and more trade schools, vocational training back to the district to diversify our economy and bring back manufacturing jobs, not just construction jobs.
Thank you,
So
sir.
that's the promise that I will make, is to use my resources and my connections that I've made over the last 30 years to bring those home to the District 20, Palm Beach and Broward County.
Thank you, Mr. Musselwhite,
Thank you.
for attending. Our next candidate for the same District 20 will be Vic DeGrammont.
Yes, sir.
There you are. Thank you, sir.
How you guys doing? Thank you, HISPAC, for having me. Hello, my name is Vic DeGrammont, and I am also running for Congress in Florida's District 20 against Alcee Hastings. I'm a licensed realtor and a small business owner. I live here in Lauderhill, where I've been a resident for over 12 years. And I'm also a first-generation Haitian American, and my wife is a first-generation Cuban American. So I have extremely strong ties to the Hispanic community. So elections are about choice. They're a chance for the people of the district to let their voices be heard. And I think sometimes we forget that it shouldn't be about party or even a person, but about making sure that the representative in Washington reflects your beliefs and values. Values like honesty, family, hard work, and the belief in the American dream. A dream that we could provide a better future for our children, regardless of their race, regardless of their ethnicity, regardless of their background. As a first-generation Haitian American, I believe in the American dream because my family lived the American dream. My wife's family lived the American dream. I've lived the American dream. And it's because of these values that the Sun Sentinel has endorsed me as a stronger candidate for your representative for Congressional District 20. I'm running for Congress because I believe in the people of District 20. I believe they need a representative in Washington who understands the culture and ethnic landscape of the district, who understands that we can't afford to define ourselves by a political party or partisan politics. While this district remains one of the poorest in the state, we need a representative that's going to put South Florida first, who understands that we need a voice in Washington, not 2 more years of business as usual. 2 more years of Broward County veterans lacking the medical care that they need in their community. 2 more years of retail, service, entertainment workers lacking access to childcare that could be available during working hours. Right now, South Florida is a 24-hour district. It's not a 9 to 5. We don't need a 9 to 5 representative. We need someone who's going to be working for them 24 hours. Right now, we live in a time just like any other, unlike any other in the history of our nation. The pandemic, it really threatens to disrupt our retail, our restaurant, our service, and our entertainment industries. This is not a challenge that can be met with a representative that owes more to Washington insiders than to the people of the district. We're going to have to put South Florida first. And if we're going to emerge stronger through this crisis, we need a representative that understands 21st century challenges require 21st century solutions. Again, my name is Vic DeGrammont, and I'm hoping I can get your vote on August 18th. And if you want more info about me, you can go to www.fl20.info. That's fl20.info. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Mr. DeGrammont. And I'm going to ask you the same question I asked other candidates. If you were elected for that seat in your district for United States Congress for the House, what is your pledge to the voters that will take you there as it relates to policies that you intend to implement that will benefit or provide equal footing to a growing Hispanic community and businesses in your particular district?
Well, as I said before, my wife is Cuban. So, you know, I'm pressured with the Hispanic community every day to be a better man and to do better things for them. One of the most important things that I feel that can be implemented is childcare. With childcare, people are going to be able to go out and get jobs, and we're going to be able to stimulate the economy. Like I said, we're in a district that is primarily retail. It's primarily service industries. It's restaurant service, entertainment. These people don't have traditional 9 to 5 jobs. They can get out at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I believe we need 24-hour childcare, which will benefit everybody. And we can incentivize these childcare providers to expand their hours, and these residents having these non-traditional jobs, they're going to have this access, and they're going to be able to have more jobs and work.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And thank you for your attendance.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm going to move to the United States House, Congress District 21. And I'm going to start with Congresswoman Lois Frankel. How are you today? You're on mute, so I can't hear you.
You got to unmute.
There we go. You know, it's nothing like a politician who's on mute, right? Do you want me to start?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
First of all, thank you so much. This has been a very interesting. I've been listening to all these candidates. And first, I want to start. Thank you for this opportunity. And also, I want to especially thank those of you who've been working on the census, because this is very, very important for resources for our state, and also to make sure we get the best number of representatives. So I'll just start by saying, you know, we live in unprecedented times. I've had the privilege of serving South Floridians as a state legislator, as a mayor of West Palm Beach, and now you're a member of Congress. And this is, I believe, given me the experience to meet today's extraordinary challenges. I have a very close relationship with local, state, and federal leaders. We have a great team here in DC. We do many, many town halls and many, many meetings now, certainly it's by phone and virtual. I've been working really very hard lately on the COVID response and the police reform. I have press the county on resources, especially to get resources in the hot spots that are in our Hispanic community. I'm on the Appropriations Committee, which funds the work of the federal government. This has given me the capacity to advance funding for things like Everglades restoration, medical research, veteran support, childcare, healthcare, clean energy, small business support. I've traveled to the border and ICE facilities, and I have been horrified by what I've seen. I'm most proud of my son, Ben, who's a U.S. Marine War veteran and has come home safely and given me a fantastic grandson. But, you know, my voting philosophy and my record, I'm a very strong Democrat. I have progressive values, but I like to get things done. I believe all people should have access to affordable health care. People who work hard should be able to live a decent life. And our democracy must stay strong, so we should have transparency in campaign finance. We should have the ability for anybody to vote by mail. We need to have police reform. And if I could give my grandson a gift, it would be a clean climate. I support expanding background checks. And unlike the President of the United States, I believe diversity is our strength. I oppose the wall and his racist immigration policies. I'm for a path to lawful permanent resident status, not only for our dreamers, but for undocumented immigrants. And I just want to say, I had the privilege of taking one of our local dreamers as my guest to one of the State of the Union addresses and to make that point. I'll just conclude by saying I'm for the people.
Thank you, Congresswoman. I have the one question that I asked all the candidates I'm going to ask you. And, you know, I guess because you've been in Congress already for a few terms and you've been a public servant for several years, I'd like to know if you can tell us what is going to be your pledge for this upcoming election for the voters of Palm Beach County and, you know, for the voters that you represent in terms of what policies do you intend to implement or bring forward to the floor to benefit or provide equal footing for the growing Hispanic businesses that are here in your district?
Well, first, thank you for the question. Let me just say that most of these policies I'm going to talk about, I've already voted for. We have the Democrats in the House have a very great for the people agenda. We've passed a lot of legislation. Unfortunately, a lot of it sits on the desk of the Senate President. But I think number one, we need immediately to have more COVID relief, and I'm pushing to get more relief both to individuals and businesses. That is something we're running out of relief right now, and that's my number one priority right now. And of course, police reform, which I think we've heard the people across the country crying out for that. I think one of the most important things that we can do is make sure we expand affordable health care to everyone. I believe health care is right. We got to get the cost of prescription drugs down. I have voted for bills to do that already. We need to raise people's wages, and that means raising the minimum wage, investing. I've just finished voting for a huge infrastructure package, which will bring millions of jobs.
Thank you.
Americans. And
thank you, Congresswoman. Sorry.
Just one last thing, and I would say immigration reform without a question.
Okay. I have to cut you off. I apologize. Thank you.
No problem. No problem.
I'm trying to be as fair as I can to everyone that is speaking. I believe my 30-second limitation has been a burden on all politicians here. Let me move on to our next candidate will be Mr. Guido Weiss. Mr. Weiss, you have the floor.
Hey, good evening, everybody. And thank you to Daniel and Santos and everybody else involved, and Sam Roman and everybody involved in HISPAC. I really appreciate it. So I'll go quickly. I apologize. I am running a little bit late to something else. Qualifications. I'm a former congressional staffer. I worked in past, initiatives that I wrote. 20 of them have become law, which is quite an interesting feat. I'm a Navy intelligence officer, and I'm also born and raised in Palm Beach County. And I've studied quite a few different languages and learned a lot about what's been going on around here. Just a little bit about why I'm running. I'm running because as in my time working in Congress, I saw that frequently initiatives that are for people in the district get drowned out by corporate interests. And I see currently if you have a representative that takes a lot of money from big ag money and then also claims to be an environmentalist, it doesn't really work that way. Or if you have somebody that's claiming to lower your healthcare costs, but is fueled and funded by pharmaceutical companies, they don't work as hard as they actually could be doing that. So to me, that's a really important initiative. Another thing that I'll mention is in District 21, in Florida's 21st Congressional District, our district office is not even in our district. It's in another congressional district. And to me, that's unacceptable. I've worked for multiple members of Congress, Democratic members of Congress, where the community was able to literally walk to the district office, have conversations with the representative, engage with the representative and their staff, and get help and assistance with federal resources. So I'm running because I think that we can have a much better community representative that's not corporate, that has a better accomplishment record in Congress. And a lot of the things that we hear currently are talking points from the whole Florida delegation. I've fighted for Everglades funding and this, that, and the other, but the entire delegation does that. And you'll see the talking points are the same from here down to Miami. So that's a big reason why I'm running. And my pledge to the community, I'm so sorry, I do have to go after this. My pledge to the community is it's minimum wage increase. It's fighting for Medicare for all, but actually doing it because I won't be connected to pharmaceuticals and medical companies. It's having Spanish language website. Currently, we don't have the Spanish language highlighted in our District 21 website. Our materials, everything going out should be translated because this district, depending on the numbers you see, could be 15 to 25% Hispanic. And that's really important. And we need to incorporate that into the process in a much stronger way. Another thing that I'll do is I'll move our congressional office into a neighborhood in this district and have a Spanish-speaking staff there on duty, which is something that we don't have at the moment. So I really appreciate your time. Again, I thank all of you so much this evening. I do have to get going, but appreciate it, Daniel and everybody else.
Thank you, Mr. Weiss. We appreciate it. Thank you. Our next candidate for the same seat will be Mr. Christian Acosta. Mr. Acosta, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Daniel. And I want to say thank you to all of HISPAC for this opportunity. It's very important for all of us to be able to have these platforms. And I just want to introduce myself. My name is Christian Acosta. I'm a resident of Palm Beach County. I actually grew up here. I went to middle school at Omni Middle School, and I went to Atlantic High School. So this is something that's near and dear to my heart. My parents have been here for 20 years, and they call this wonderful county home. My dad is actually from Puerto Rico. He was born in San German, and he's an Air Force veteran. So I'm an Air Force brat. Did that for 25 years. He was a major. And my mother's from Argentina, from Buenos Aires, and she is a small business owner. She's been owning businesses in this district for the last almost 20 years. She owns some tutoring businesses. So this county is my home. I've brought my wife, Rachel, and my young daughter, she's 7 months old, her name's Violet, here. We live in Boynton Beach. And the reason I'm running is because this district is special to me, and because I believe I have a story, a family story, that is something we need to make sure everybody has access to. I actually studied at the University of Florida. I'm a nuclear engineer. I have a master's in nuclear engineering, and I worked as a nuclear engineer for 12 years. And now I'm a professor at Palm Beach State College. I teach energy. I teach clean energy, electricity engineering to students. We give them good certifications. They get good paying jobs. That type of story where a Hispanic background individual, where a family comes here and is able to use education to really get ahead. And now, imagine run for US Congress. That's the American story. And that's what everybody needs to have access to. The main problem I have, and the reason I'm running, is because I don't see our representative currently delivering benefits to this county. I see a lot of national politics. I see a lot of left versus right politics. I don't see being able to point to some building or some park or some policy and saying, we did that, I led that effort. And that is what we deserve. Our district is too diverse and too amazing to not be in the newspapers all the time. The only time we're talked about on national radio or TV is when we screw up a recount in an election. And that's not good enough. We need to make sure that we have better focus on the economy. We need to have tax breaks specifically aimed at small businesses. A lot of our businesses start in small strip malls, small segments there. A lot of our churches start start there. Hispanics come here to be entrepreneurs. We come here to be our own boss. That's the step, but we need focus on lower taxes, not higher taxes. I want to see a focus specifically on education. I believe in vocational training. I believe more science and technology needs to be taught. I want to see our high schools offer pathways to getting credits towards a Florida state certification for jobs, and I can help from the federal level to make that happen. I think we need to have more focus on two-year institutions because a lot of our students start their career through a community college system. We talk about student loan debt a lot. One of the ways to help lower student loans is to make community college even stronger, and that's something that everybody can achieve, everybody can aim for, and that we should be getting support from federal level. I'm going to work on all of those policies because I think that's the type of thing that South Florida really needs to get ahead, and that's really what drives me. But thank you very much for the time. My name is Christian Acosta, and my website is voteacosta.com.
Thank you, Mr. Acosta. And I have that question for you that I asked other candidates, and that is, what is your pledge to the voters of your district if you're elected to the U.S. Congress, and what kind of policy do you intend to implement that will either benefit or provide equal footing to the growing Hispanic community in Palm Beach County? And I'm gonna ask you to hopefully stay within 30 seconds.
Sure, no problem. Well, I am part of the Hispanic community here. It's near and dear to my heart for obvious reasons, but my number one pledge is this. You will always be able to come to me and ask me for help. I'm going to have an office right here in Boynton Beach, which is not something we've had ever. I'm going to make sure that we have access to education, to programs that can help you get that job, and to programs that can help you start your own business. Hispanics come to this country for economic opportunity, and if that's not your number one focus, then you're not serving the Hispanic community. I believe that we need to have education, better job opportunities. I want to see more businesses move here. And I also want to see more ability for our small businesses to succeed instead of being driven through bankruptcy. I mean, if you look at the current COVID response, the number one focus should have been making sure that our small businesses survived. We achieved part of that, but we could have done so much more. And if I'm your congressional representative, I will always be fighting for you, and you will always be able to come to my door, say, "¿Qué pasa, Cristian?" and you're going to get personalized service. And of course, my staffers will speak Spanish, all of the above. I would love to be your representative. Please give me that chance. Christian Acosta, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Acosta. I appreciate it. All right, I'm going to move on to Commissioner for District 1 of Palm Beach County for the Palm Beach Commission, Maria Marino.
Let's see.
Where are we? Oh, there we are.
There you are. Hello. How is everyone this evening? Have everybody have enough to drink? A little bit of water if they need it. It's been a long time. First off, I want to say hello and thank you to the Hispanic Political Action Committee. And I also want to say a very special thank you to Juan Pagan. Juan, it was my pleasure and my honor to work with you with Palm Beach County Cares along with Katherine Waldron. You hate when people have to come together for a crisis, which is what we've been doing as of late. But Juan and Katherine and I were all on a charity that it only comes to play when there's a crisis. So Juan, I wanted to thank you for your help and all you did. So that just took 30 seconds. I apologize. My name is Maria Marino. I'm running for Palm Beach County District 1 County Commission. I am a conservative Republican. I'm the current vice mayor of the city of Palm Beach Gardens, and I am only a 4-year elected official. This is, as my mom would say, this is the last chapter of my work life. It's not my entire work life. I'm a small business owner and I've been self-employed most of my adult life. So I know what it's like to make a payroll, to hire, to fire. And if you don't work, you don't get paid. So I'm a watchdog for dollars. And I have to say that those are some of the things that I've accomplished in my 4 years in the city of Palm Beach Gardens. We've lowered our tax rate every year for the last 4 years. We've obviously maintained a balanced budget, but we all have to maintain a balanced budget. That's the law. I do promote open and transparent government. Sad that we have to say we promote that. We should just be doing that, and that's what I do. We've increased the number of first responders and police in our city. So, and there's a big importance to that. And I believe that, we have a wonderful police department. Our policies and procedures manual is on our city's website, so you can see what we do. We've also done things, and we preserved 2,400 acres of land that a developer gave to us. They are going to restore it and connect 100,000 acres of wetlands, which on waterways, which would be wonderful and no cost to taxpayers. We've also put conservancy before dollars, where we sold a piece of property that was excess land for the city of Palm Beach Gardens. We sold it to Seacoast Utilities, so they'd have a place to build wells for 50 years. Now, as I said, I've only been an elected official for 4 years, but being a business owner and being a leader in the community, it's been a wonderful thing. I get up every morning and I really just love what I do. And I'm running because I was asked to run by both sides of the aisle. I've been endorsed by both sides of the aisle. My endorsement list is really long. There's over 10 mayors on it, a lot of elected officials, the Economic Council, Palm Beach North Chamber, North PAC, the Police Benevolent Association, the Broward, Palm Beach, and St. Lucie Realtors Association, BizPAC, Chamber of Commerce, Leadership Political Action Committee, and the list goes on and on. Oops, I'm sorry.
So we're up on time, but I want to ask you the question. You may include, something else in your response, but I just want to know what do you pledge to the voters of Palm Beach County if you are elected to the seat that you're running for in Commission 1 for Palm Beach County, and what type of policies would you be inclined to raise for the Hispanic businesses that live within your district?
I think the most important thing we can do is invest in economic development. That means job growth. That means investing here in our community, housing programs, because if you have a job, you need to have a place to live. You need to be able to have, a roof over your head and food on the table. So my policy would always be just to see what I can do to partner with the business community so that we have jobs. And if we have a good partnership with the business community, our taxpayers, our residents will be paying less in taxes. So, a balanced budget, lower taxes, and economic growth.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You were right in 30 seconds.
Have a good day.
You
Or
too.
night, I should say.
You too. Thank you. Next will be District 3 for Palm Beach County Commission, Mr. John Maples.
Hey, Daniel.
Hey, John, how are you?
HISPAC, thank you. I'm doing well.
All right.
Thank you.
I
for
have
having
to
me.
time you too. I cannot give you any
I'm
additional
ready.
time.
I'm
Okay.
ready. It's
All right.
almost 9 o'clock. It's bedtime, so I'm definitely ready for that. No, I appreciate the opportunity to speak. I'm a native of Florida. I've been in Palm Beach County for 16 years. Went to Palm Beach Athletic, met my wife there, and All-American basketball player, and I work in finance. So my background is in financial planning, looking at budgets, analyzing budgets, figuring out how we can be more efficient, and being a leader and driving that efficiency to create opportunities within Palm Beach County. My focus as a leader is going through and finding ways to create more jobs for small businesses. Like many of the folks on this call, I'm also a small business owner, and I hire and fire my staff and work in finance. And so bringing that special gift of looking at budgets and analyzing budgets and creating opportunities for small businesses to be successful in this community is what my focus will be, leading into affordable housing. And then from there, which is really important to me as well, is mental health, behavioral health. And those are some of the things that I plan to bring to the commission, but one namely being my experience as a financial advisor. I think that's going to go a long way.
Great.
Sorry, I'm not a politician. I'm not very winded. I'm a business guy. It's right down to the middle, and that's what it is. Sorry.
Thank you, John. So I'd like to ask you, what is your, if you are to be elected by the voters in your district in Palm Beach County, do you have in mind any policy that you intend to implement that will benefit or provide equal footing to the growing Hispanic communities in your district and the businesses, the Hispanic businesses in your district?
Yeah, absolutely. My main focus will be to analyze the budget and figure out ways to create more opportunities for businesses to be successful, to come to Palm Beach County, for small businesses to have the opportunity to thrive and take care of their families. And I'm a Republican, but I'm also very responsible physically. And I believe that having affordable housing for people who work hard, want to take care of their families, I think everybody wants the same thing, to take care of their families and to have an opportunity to do that. So those are the things that I'll be focused on.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Maples.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great night.
You too.
We have to move on. Our next is Mr. David Shiner, running for District 5 of the Commission of Palm Beach County. Mr. Shiner. Hopefully he's still here.
No, let's proceed.
Okay. I'm going to move on to the State Senate District 29. That will be Mr. Brian Norton.
Yes, hello.
Hey. All right. Thank you, sir.
Hey, Daniel. Thank you. I just want to say thank you to HISPAC for giving me the opportunity to speak here tonight. My name is Brian Norton, and I'm running for the next state senator here in District 29. Like many of our viewers out there, I'm not a politician. I'm a husband. I'm a father of 3 children. I'm a small business owner, and I'm running for them, and I'm running for you and your children and your grandchildren. I'm running because I believe that our district deserves better. We deserve to have a state senator who can get real results for our community. And I'm not talking about the results of put legislation forward that just dies in committee, or the results of just saying, hey, I fought for this and I fought for you here, but not really bringing anything back. I'm talking about results of fixing our traffic problems, fixing our schools, addressing the pandemic, and really getting tangible results that we all need, because South Florida has a very vibrant and diverse community, and we need the infrastructure to support that. Now, we're facing unprecedented challenges here in 2020, from the pandemic, school reopenings, public safety, and many more. And we need to have leadership that can actually get the job done and that can move us forward. I'm running because I want to help our community. I care about what happens in our community, and I care about our community more than I care about party politics. I'm running because I want to make sure that our community is getting what it needs to tackle this pandemic. We are in a hot spot down here in South Florida, and right now we are playing very passive aggressively. And as you can tell, we are not moving forward. We are standing still like it's a hurricane, and we need leadership that can take us forward through this pandemic rather than just waiting for it to pass us by. So I'm running to help everyone within our community. I don't care if you're a Democrat, an MPA, or a Republican. I want to work with you because I believe that our community can be better and should be better. I believe that our schools, should have what they need so they can reopen safely. I believe that our hospitals and our medical workers should have what they need to continue to help combat this virus, and also helping our small businesses, helping our employees. I've been a small business owner. I know what it's like to make payroll, right? I'm married to an ER physician. I understand what's going on in this pandemic and how it's affecting our healthcare workers. As a father of 3, I understand the challenges of having your kids home from school. They just voted tonight to keep, schools closed until the 31st, but still virtual learning. And that's going to affect everybody. It doesn't matter, your race, your ethnicity, nothing like that. Your age, you're going to be affected by this. If you have to stay home, how are you going to, take care of your kids and take care of your family and with your job, right? So we need to be addressing these issues proactively, not passively. And that's really why I'm running, because I believe that our district can do better and deserves better.
Thank you, Mr. Norton. And I have to ask you the same questions I do with all the folks running for office. What is your pledge to the voters of your district if you win and you're elected, as to the policies that you intend to implement that will either benefit or bring equal footing to the growing Hispanic community in your district, including businesses?
I appreciate the question. Now, Daniel, you may not know this. I'm Hispanic myself. My mother's from Colombia. She lived the American dream, came over in the 60s with her family, and I'm the product of that. In the last recession, I started a new business. I created a landscape company. Over 8 years that I had it, I grew it to over 30 employees, and a majority of my employees were Hispanic. And creating opportunity is the #1 way that we can help the Hispanic community. It's going out there, making sure that the schools in the Hispanic community have the same resources as the schools that are not in the Hispanic community, making sure that they have access to affordable quality healthcare, and making sure that our businesses can reopen safely and stay open safely so they can go back to work. And same thing with our schools, so their kids can go back to school so they can continue to live the American dream.
Thank you, Mr. Marcus. Thank you. I have Karen Marcus here as well, and she's running for commissioner on District 1, Palm Beach County Commission. Ms. Marcus, are you there?
I'm here.
Perfect, thank you.
I was thinking maybe you're saving the best for last. I wasn't
Listen,
sure.
No, it's all good. It's fine. I apologize. I apologize, but let me hear from you. Thank you.
Sure. Hi. Yes, I'm Karen Marcus. I'm a native Floridian born in Key West, grew up in Palm Beach County since I was 5. I'm married. I have 3 daughters and I have 8 grandkids. I was on the commission for 28 years. I retired. I serve on many boards when I retired, Maltz Theater, Loggerhead, Abacoa, Roger Dean, many boards. And I also started my own nonprofit called Sustainable Palm Beach County, where we were involved in public policy, working on water issues and other issues that are important to the future of Palm Beach County. I am running. I was approached by many residents that after the time off that I had taken, that there was a need for my experience and understanding how the county works. And especially now in these times that we're going through, I don't need any on-job education. I can get started and get to work right away.
Great.
And I know your one question.
Thank you. You know my one question, so you can give me the answer because you were
Yes.
actually pretty quick too.
Yes, well, I have a long platform, but I know it's really late and I'm sure that people are getting ready to sign off. So, and some of my priorities, by the way, before I get to your one question, which will be a short answer, will be to get us out of this COVID, both safely and economically, and then look towards what our needs are in the future for the county. To your point, I think that one of the things that we can do is put many small businesses, Hispanic businesses on some of the boards that we have to give us the input on how it would make it better and easier to access. I know it's difficult when you're a small business, whether you're Hispanic or any, to get banking and financial loans sometimes to get started, and especially to do work in a government like the county. So I would really want to have that type of participation on some of the boards, and I would have an open door policy and would seek the input of your group to help guide us to make sure that we do represent everybody.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Next, I have State House District 86, Susan Kufdakis. Is that correctly pronounced? I can't hear you.
Yeah, got it. All right. Hi. Yeah. Kufdakis. Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm Susan Kufdakis Rivera, and I'm running for Florida State House District 86. You could say that I'm going to be the up and coming Latina shaking up that scene. But first off, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a proud Puerto Rican Greek living in Wellington, and I practice immigration defense law in West Palm Beach. And I have lived in Florida for about 5, almost 6 years. And I'm being someone who's actually lived in all throughout the Midwest. I am very happy in Florida, and I'm glad to call it home. And because Florida is my home, I have grown increasingly concerned about the lack of progress and the lack of adequate representation in our state, which prompted me to start asking questions. And when I realized that things were declining and little progress was being made, especially due to bipartisan divides, I was like, well, where is this neutral person that can go in there, push past divides and actually deliver results, because they want to be there, present, representing those people within community and state. And not finding that is what prompted me to run, because I feel I'm a very passionate person. I have always been a community advocate. When not doing this for a living for immigrants, I'm very much involved with the Junior League. I started in Oklahoma and then Fort Lauderdale, and now in Palm Beach. And I've worked on a lot of community projects through that. And I'm that type of person where I will work relentlessly. I'll pull out whatever all-nighters I have to do to ensure that every voice in our community is being listened to. And I myself, as a representative, will also be that person to advocate and represent community and state in Tallahassee. And I think that steadfast determination and passion for my community are definitely things that make me a great candidate for this position. I'm sorry, what was that?
No, you're good.
Okay,
You're
okay,
doing-
sorry.
You
Okay.
still have 20
Yeah,
seconds.
20
And-
seconds. So my biggest platforms are in education, criminal justice reform, healthcare reform, the environment, because I'm looking to work on everything across the map, especially these biggest issues we have with healthcare and policing and education. They're all intertwined. And also, I know you have that question about how I expect to help the Latina community. And well, when I look at the Latino community, I know being raised by a very blunt Puerto Rican mother, I know what it's like to see her face adversity in a small community because she has an accent, they don't understand. And I remember seeing her work hard and struggle, and me in a small town be seen as a minority and have to go the extra mile. And I think that there needs to be a voice there that will represent all the people, who will understand and will represent everybody. And that's what I will bring, equal representation for all. I will work for all.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Next, I have House District 87 for the Florida House of Representatives, Mr. Herbert Sennett. Is that correct, the way I stated your last name, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Herb Sennett. I have two major priorities and one overarching priority that I'd like to talk about. First of all is I spent 40 years in education. I spent 5 years of my life as a high school teacher. Seemed like 10, but that's okay. I then moved into teaching in college and spent 35 years, all of which was right here in Palm Beach County. I am a transplant, but I feel like I'm right at home and I'm going nowhere. I live in the district, which is District 87, was once 89. But anyway, I've been living here for 35 years. I know this area and I'm committed to it 100%. I own my, I have paid off my house. So I got a lot at stake with this particular area. The second major issue that I have with education is I want to see us work. I would love to go to Tallahassee to get inside that great big tall Taj Mahal education building and start ripping things out, especially people and the administration there. I think that they're doing double duty, that and what the school boards are doing, and the school boards need to take complete lead on all of that. So I want to work in the education area. Second priority, public safety. I don't know about any of the rest of you, but watching television over the past couple of months, I'm not happy. I'm not happy at all. I'm watching my country just deteriorate all around me. And my God, that has got to stop. I have a strong military background. I spent 30 years as a Army reservist and retired. I'm a strong supporter of law enforcement. The third priority, which I think is overarching, is the quality of life in Palm Beach County. I've watched things deteriorate all around me, especially in this district. And I've resided in this district for 35 years. I've been married for 52. Hey, check that one out. And I have 2 wonderful children. One, my daughter is a lawyer here in town. And my son, it lives up in Palm Beach Gardens, is a internet entrepreneur, makes more money every month than I ever thought about making in a year. So he's a small business guru. And so I want to protect him and his business. I would say that
I have to ask you the question that I asked everyone. And you're talking about businesses, so I'd like to know what your pledge is for. I understand you're a transplant, you bought a home in Palm Beach County, but what is your pledge to those who are in the Hispanic community as it relates to businesses and constituents in your district, and to place them either on an equal footing or how you intend to grow that community and those businesses if you are elected?
Well, the way I understand it in the numbers, my district is almost 30% Hispanic. So please understand, I'm going to work hard for the small businesses. I will work hard for the education. I know education is top priority among the Hispanic community, and it should be in every community. And for public safety, we all want to feel safe in our homes. And that's those things I pledge. I will work toward it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next, it's going to be Gail Harrell, and she is running for state Senate in Florida State for District 25. Ms. Harrell. I think you're on mute.
You're on mute.
Microphone. It's on red.
Bueno, mil gracias. Buenas noches. Antes de empezar, yo quisiera darles mil gracias por organizar esta entrevista y la oportunidad de hablar con ustedes. Y aprecio muchísimo lo que hacen para nuestra comunidad. I'm Gail Harrell. I'm Senator from District 25, and I'm running for re-election. I've spent the last 2 years in the Florida Senate and served as chair of the Healthcare Committee, as well as vice chair of the Health and Human Services Appropriations Committee. I also serve on the Criminal Justice Appropriations Committee and several others. I spent 16 years in the Florida House, 2 different stints from 2010 to 2018, and previously from 2000 to 2008. And I am running really to continue the hard work that we have done in improving education, and especially for our Hispanic students. I am so concerned with COVID and what is happening with distance learning, especially our children who need ESOL education are getting so left behind. This is one of my missions. I've been very involved in making sure that we have upgraded and improved our educational system. I work very closely with Indiantown and the wonderful things we've accomplished out there. As chairman of the Healthcare Committee, I've really been very proactive and very busy with what we're addressing with the COVID epidemic. This has been devastating to the state of Florida and to the economy. And I will continue to work hard to really make sure that we are putting our resources into continuing to reconstruct our economy, and especially those businesses, those Hispanic businesses. It's very important. A little background, I started my career as a teacher in Latin American history and Spanish, and then wound up spending 30 years in healthcare. My husband was an OBGYN. We opened a practice in Stewart in 1971. I am a very long-term resident of District 25, almost 50 years, and really know our community very well. I represent a small part of Palm Beach County, including Pahokee, going out west to the Glades. And that's why I'm so concerned about education for our Hispanic students and our minority students. We have to make sure that they get what they need. I'm happy to work with the Hispanic community. We've had 10 foreign exchange students from various countries. My kids have all been exchange students, and I am there to work with you and help you achieve everything for that American dream that we all share. And thank you very much.
Thank you. The question to you will be the same as I asked everyone else. As it relates to your pledge to the voters in your district, as it pertains to policies that you intend to implement if you are reelected to benefit or provide equal footing to Hispanics. I mean, you are in the Senate now, so the question would be, what is it that you can tell us that you either have done or that you're considering to implementing? And you can do that in 30 seconds. That would be fantastic.
I could go on for hours on education, especially for our Hispanic students. I think we need to make sure that we have that individualized instruction, especially in reading. That is the key to success. We need ESOL education, but we also need to make sure that every child learns to read. I've done major legislation in early education and in reading and dyslexia. And I'll continue that work with a focus on our Hispanic students. That is the key to the American dream. We need to make sure every student out there has that opportunity and that they can be successful.
Thank you, Ms. Mara. Thank you very much. Okay, next we have Saeed Hussein for State House 91, Florida House of Representatives. Is Saeed here today?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so let me move on to State House District 88, Omari Hardy.
No, Omar is not here either.
And last but not least, been very, very patient, Ms. Danielle Madsen.
Hola, me llamo es Daniela Madsen. Muchísimas gracias por esta invitación. Thank you so much, HISPAC, for having me. I'm so excited to be here and honored to be with you all tonight. I am 100% for education choice. I support school choice, and I believe that every child should have access and receive a top-notch education. And I support parents having the power to make the best choice for what they believe that their child should receive. I support in-school learning opportunities. And if elected, my pledge is this. My pledge is that my office will be easy to get to, and it will be Education Central and Job Central. I want to have information on educational opportunities for children, scholarships available, and also resources about learning opportunities, job training, skills training, job fairs, and that kind of thing, because I have listened to the community. A lot of people have lost their jobs, and that is a big concern. So if elected, I will do everything I can, again, to support children and their parents with education, and also support the business community and do everything that I can to support those that are looking for jobs in my area. Again, Danielle Madsen for Florida House District 88, and I am ready and want to listen to you. Please email me at danielle@madsen4floridahouse.com.
Thank you, Ms. Madsen. And I'm going to ask you the same question, which you heard many, many times already. And if you are elected to your congressional district, what is your pledge to the voters of that district as it relates to policies that you intend to implement? I assume will be based in education to benefit and provide equal footing to the growing Hispanic communities in your district.
Yes, my pledge is twofold. One, as the Republican candidate in this race, because the majority party does make the decisions in our state about which projects get funded, I am in the best position to bring home dollars to my district for projects that need funding. And I especially want to focus on education choice. I want to bring funding to my district for education for the children that desperately need it. Secondly, I've been listening to business owners. They have been very clear whenever there's a shortfall of funding, like for instance, post 9/11, and what they're expecting is after COVID for them to be targeted for extra taxes to make up a shortfall in funding. I do not support any new taxes on small businesses. The business owners that have spoken with me have said, leave us alone, let us thrive. And so I do support business owners, especially small business owners, and I want to support the children and parents of District 88. I hear you, I want to listen to you, and again, please email me at danielle@madsenforfloridahouse.com. I'm here for you, and I want to listen. Thank you so much, Danielle Matson for District 88, Florida House.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I want to thank Juan Pagan, Santos Arroyo. I want to thank Sam Ruman, Jose Luis Rivera. And I want to thank all of you for attending tonight to spend the last almost 3 hours together doing this very informative forum, which only is here to help your constituents learn a little bit in a very small amount of time about who it is that is running for office. I invite you to provide us with your additional information, and if you wish to participate in candidate screening so that we can learn a little more about your policies in a period of time that it's more than 3 minutes, then we will do so as well. HISPAC is going to be doing and conducting some candidate screenings for the different folks running for office throughout Florida. We've done it for Central Florida. We're doing it for obviously Palm Beach County and for Broward County as well. So I thank you very much for your patience and for all the information that you provided to us today.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Appreciate it.
Good night.
Thank you so much.
Please be safe
Thank
out
you
there.
so
you,
much.
HISPAC.
Gracias, buenas noches.
Muchas gracias. Nos vemos.
Chao.
Tenga buena noche.
Gracias.
Chao.
Hasta luego.
Gracias.